If your goal is to do this, then keep watching. Welcome to this little bonus video, how to aerial on trampoline. I have a video exporting for a client. My kids wanted to go outside, and one of my subscribers, Razby, asked. So instead of typing it all out, I decided to just shoot a quick video. I'm gonna show you how to tricker aerial and gymnastics aerial in the same video. So let's get started. First of all, warm up. Just do some leg swings, touch your toes, jump around a little bit, get your heart rate going, and then you're ready. You don't wanna pull a muscle. You're kicking back really hard and you're landing on one leg, so you can really hurt your hamstrings or your ankles if you mess this up, not to mention your knees. So just make sure you're warmed up. Then to dive right into the tricker aerial, we're gonna start with a cartwheel. If you can't cartwheel yet, I have a tutorial on my channel linked in the card and in the description. I have at least 3 different videos on aerial, and one of the ways that I say to learn it is through a B kick, but I would definitely not recommend that on trampoline because B kick on trampoline is kind of awkward and doesn't really help you for aerial. It feels very different. It's like your legs are too heavy or something. You can do it if it feels good to you, but I'm just gonna teach you from cartwheel. The hard part about aerial on tramp is that it feels like you're kind of like on the moon. Everything feels like slower than normal. The key to making it look like a tricker aerial is that little bit of turn like you're gonna B-kick. So start by doing a cartwheel, but kind of facing the opposite direction and turning into your cartwheel. You wanna feel this like roll from your right leg to your left leg if you go to the left. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you do have to stay rigid enough with your arms and legs to land. After that, we're literally just gonna start bouncing. I would not recommend doing the like one hand switch hand method. That's probably just gonna end up making you hurt yourself. And when I say bounce, I mean just like a tiny bounce. If you bounce a lot, it's gonna feel like not like an aerial. Basically, you're just gonna hop on one foot just a little bit and then use that rolling momentum to start the sideways momentum for your aerial. And then you're gonna use that downward force to push you back up as you kick back for that cartwheel. This should give you a little bit of air time, and legitimately that's the method. You just keep doing that over and over again. Push down hard into the trampoline, let it bounce you up, kick over, and keep doing it until you kind of just start missing the ground with your hands. Like, you should have a lot of air time where you just barely touch the ground. Do it over and over again and just try to keep your hands off the ground for as long as possible. On that one, you could see an error that I made. I don't know how out of frame I am or not, but I kind of kicked to the side and my hips went a little wrong instead of kicking backwards. You want to really focus on kicking backwards, and then you do a 180 and then you kick downwards towards your face as you're coming down. A key thing to ensure that this happens is turning this foot all the way. So if I'm over here like this and I'm bouncing and turning, I normally kind of go like this on the ground and then pivot, but because it's the trampoline, we're gonna get stuck and twist our knee. So what you wanna do is you wanna kind of turn this foot this way as you're still over here, and it's this kind of hybrid like V motion rather than this U of a B kick. Here, here. And then that way you kick straight backwards as much as you can. It's always gonna be on that 45 if it's like a tricker aerial, but you wanna kick backwards as much as you can and turn. And then other than that, just remember, it's just a cartwheel. Just keep training cartwheel. When in doubt, cartwheel it out. That was probably one of the most dad things I've said in a while. That's not true, I recorded this video yesterday. Yeah, right, I'll believe that when. Now with this method, obviously because you have to touch the ground, you're gonna notice that your head is low to the ground or close to the trampoline. That's just a byproduct of this. And with aerial, you don't wanna be super high up anyway. From here, there's like 2 branching ways that you can get it, but either way, they kind of end up in the same place. One is to One is to focus on low and fast. The other is to focus on your bounce. With low and fast, it's really as simple as kick harder and harder and harder, go out as much as you can, and then push down with that left leg like a piston so that you go up, and just keep doing it until eventually you'll just kind of glide across the tramp and you won't be able to put your hands down, or you won't have to put your hands down, you just pull them up. With higher and bouncier, what you're gonna do is you're gonna focus on the bounce part, you're just gonna push into the trampoline more and more, but don't bend your legs that much on takeoff. You do wanna bend, but don't like squat. And it's gonna send you a lot higher so you have a lot more air time. The upside of this one is that you have a lot more time in the air so you can think a lot more, but the downside is that the 180 motion and the kick are a little bit harder to feel, if that makes sense. On the ground, you really feel that leg whipping you over. On the tramp, if you go high, you're not gonna feel that as much. It's gonna feel more like your chest is doing most of the work. Especially with low and fast, make sure that you are pulling your head up at the end. So pull your head up really aggressively, but don't fight for it really hard. You can hurt your knee or twist your ankle or even hurt your lower back if you like really try and stand up hard and you fight with your lower body. If you pull your head up and then you still fall, it's because your lower body wasn't aligned. You want to make sure that you land like a front split, like this or this, and not a side split, or I think in the UK they call it box split, because what can happen is if you land sideways with your legs, your butt just pushes backwards, and no matter how hard you fight, you'll just fall down. It's the difference between this, even if you have spinning momentum, it kind of turns you like this, or if you have spinning momentum and you're landing sideways with your hips, you just do. So make sure to align like this at the end, not like this. For higher and bouncier, it's basically the same thing. It's just you're gonna focus on the bounce part, and then you're gonna do everything the same, except this time I want you to try to touch the ground. Your goal on the low and fast version is to try and pull your hands up and let your feet kind of come over quickly. Whereas on this one, you want your feet to move really quick, but you wanna like literally try to touch the ground, because what'll happen is it'll keep your alignment correct. And then if you actually do a high aerial, you won't be able to touch the ground. My like fingers barely touched on that one. I had to bend my elbows on that one. Like that. Now for gymnastics aerial. There's two main ways that you can do this, but kind of like you started the same way. So I'm just gonna show you the whole progression. You go front flip, front half, Webster, Webster half, Webster half step out. You did it. If you don't know how to Webster on the trampoline or you have trouble with it, I have a tutorial linked in the card and the description below. That one is gonna teach you from an axe, but it can kind of teach you the method to feel that Webster. And then you just split your legs a little bit on this and kind of do a front flip, but then pretend or feel that you're doing a Webster, and you'll feel that kickback and you'll be able to combine it into this kind of Webster. And then it's as simple as starting the Webster and imagining you're doing a front half. Do not turn too early. You gotta turn at the same timing as a normal front half. If you turn too early, you'll kind of get stuck and your hips will feel like really wrong and it won't feel good. On those, you can see my legs coming down a little sideways. That's because I'm turning too early. That was a little more like where we wanna be. Yeah, like that. That was a good one. Now the key for all of these aerials is to go out like laterally or directionally, like horizontally, whatever E you want to call it. Then with your left leg or whatever your pushing leg is, you want to jump straight up. So you want to push into the ground again as if you were like a car piston pushing up or pushing down so that you go up, and kick really hard to create that directional momentum. The components are forward or directional horizontal momentum mixed with that kicking sideways motion, and then everything in that kicking over kind of sideways backwards motion then gets lifted up, and that allows you to create that whole aerial shape. So go out really far, but then push up just as hard, so that way you don't really move as far as you can, because you're gonna kick the net or fall off your trampoline if you're a rebel and don't have a net. But once you got that, it's as simple as kick straight down to your face and land 1-2 and get your gymnastics area. Kick my own arm. So make sure you pull them up and out to the side. You don't have to, but like it helps you. See, that one felt a little bit weaker because I didn't bounce enough or go out enough. Kind of just felt like soft, if that makes sense. Okay, like the video, subscribe if you want to. Go out on your trampoline, get your aerial so that you can do it on ground and on tramp. And if you want to see any more content from me, you can check out all of my trampoline tutorials here, and you can check out my other aerial tutorials here. But either way, please stay safe and healthy so you can keep training, and I'll see you guys later.